Hi, Nick Robinson here, and this is the fourth video in my program, Overcoming the 7 Self-Limits. We all have a collection of mental self-limits that put unconscious restrictions on what we say and how we behave. They're like a double check on what we might do, or like an emergency brake on what we might accidentally say. Most of the time these self-limits are useful, but when we want to make an important change at work, or when we need to get something difficult done, and especially if we're already under pressure, the self-limits have a strong tendency to really hold us back, or worse, to make us actually fail. Please make sure you hit like and subscribe or follow me to make sure that you don't miss an episode in this series. And from April 2023, I'll be leading a group coaching course, which you can take if you want to go a little bit further. Please look out for the sign-up link to that program too. So here are the 7 self-limits. Next, I'm going to talk us briefly through each of the 7 self-limits, and we'll tackle them again in more depth as we go through the program. And the first of our self-limits is self-doubt. This is when our confidence in ourselves is too shaky. And this comes out in inner dialogue like, oh, I won't be able to do that, or I can't do that kind of thing. And it often goes along with the feelings of anxiety, or worry, or insecurity. The next self-limit is shame. And this is when we make unhelpful judgments or comparisons about ourselves with some kind of almost impossible to live up to standard. And the kind of internal dialogue that goes with this is, I'm not good enough for that. I'm not good enough at doing presentations. I'm not good enough at doing analytical work. Or, if only I was better at doing this kind of thing. If only I was stronger and stood up for myself more. If only I was nicer with those people. Judgments and comparisons. And we often get feelings of shame, of course, and of guilt and of humiliation with this. The next kind of self-limit is self-criticism. This is where we think that we have to be or do things in a certain way. The sort of internal dialogue you might notice are rules like, I should be happier, I should be more cooperative, I should be more self-reliant. Or the converse, like I mustn't be so feeble, mustn't be such a pushover, or I mustn't be so argumentative with that group of people. And the kind of feelings we'll have with that one are about being critical of ourselves, feeling a bit inadequate, maybe contempt for ourselves and possibly others, and a sense of isolation. And the next self-limit is self-sabotage. And this is when our unconscious negative thoughts can stop us before we've even started. We may or may not notice this one very well. It's sometimes hard to spot. But it comes out in dialogue like, I don't have the time to do that. I don't have the knowledge. It's not my expertise. Or conversely, there's no point. That's just the way things are around here. That's just the way our business is. That's just the way things are done here. And that often goes with feelings of being stuck, of being trapped or railroaded. There's an irritation, sense of fatigue, because there's a lot of effort to fight that kind of thinking. And the next kind of self-limit is guessing. This is when we unhelpfully guess what other people are thinking, what they're feeling, or what they mean. And the kind of self-inner dialogue you might hear about guessing are, I know they're going to think I'm too pushy. Or you're going to walk into a presentation and you're saying to yourself, I know they're going to think I don't know what I'm doing here. Or you come out of the presentation and your boss doesn't say at the end of it, well done. And you might think to yourself, he didn't say well done. That must mean he thinks I was rubbish. And guessing often goes with feelings of bafflement because, of course, we can't really tell what other people are thinking or meaning unless we ask them. Bafflement, exasperation, feelings of rejection, being misunderstood, often a sense of fearfulness because we're worried about what people might be thinking. And the next kind of self-limit is blame. And this is when we give away some of our power or authority by declaring that somebody or something else was the cause of something undesirable. We might say to ourselves, they made me miss that opportunity. It was his fault I made that mistake. Or if it wasn't for our computer system, this wouldn't be so awful. If only the market was better, wouldn't be so hard at the moment. And that often goes along with feelings of blame, goes along with feelings of powerlessness, of being a victim of circumstances beyond our control, and of indignation just that things would conspire against us like that. And the last of the 7 self-limits is exaggerating. And this is when we imagine it will all go wrong or be bad every time. The kind of internal dialogue you might notice with this one is saying things like, that always happens. Every time I do that, it goes wrong. Every time I use that copier in a rush, it knows I'm in a rush and it breaks down. Nothing ever works around here. Everything we do here is hopeless. What's the point? And exaggerating goes along with feelings and emotions of being blocked. It's very stressful, of course. You feel kind of hapless and even perhaps exploited because you're trying to do stuff but anticipating that it won't work. So those are the 7 self-limits. In the next video, we'll do a deep dive into self-doubt, and we'll start using the framework of awareness, analysis, acceptance, and action as the main tools for overcoming each of the 7 self-limits. Try this exercise for now. Have a look at the 7. Which of these comes to mind for you as the one that I notice the most right now? Or, yeah, you know what, that's something I do. That's something that happens to me. I notice that going on for me at work. See which of those 7 is already most familiar to you. And if you want to go further, see which of them doesn't make any sense. I'm pretty sure I never do that. I don't self-sabotage. Which of those are you not aware of doing? And again, this is no right or wrong answers here, although what you find will be useful. This is again just practicing awareness. Good stuff. All right, my name's Nick Robinson and I help people to deal with demanding situations at work. Please remember to like, subscribe and to follow this series, and I'll see you next time.